You are so adamant about parents' rights, but in this particular case, parents who say that along with the doctors, that what is best for their kids, what their kids feel most comfortable with doing is a gender transition, that the parents should not be allowed to do that for their kids.
Look, the state has the obligation to see to the safety and health and well-being of the people of the state. And I accept that. I take your point. I take your point.
No, it's not a point, it's a question. It's a question.
What we have afoot in America is a radical gender ideology that has taken hold in our schools, it's taken hold in our universities, it is afoot across the nation.
Yeah, there is no principle underlying that except perhaps political pragmatism. He has looked out at the conservative base and they want trans people to be like legislated, defined out of existence. They don't want them to exist. At the same time, they love the idea of parents' rights because if you can claim that your parents' rights are being violated, then you're automatically right and we don't have to have a debate. Those two things are not consistent in this case, but let's pretend that that's not the case because that would be more convenient. So that's what he's doing. He says, yes, no, I believe absolutely in parents' rights, except ew, I don't like it. So no, you don't get to do it. Oh, and also, by the way that I'm going to explain this is, I think the state has the duty to protect your well-being. Is that generally what conservatives think?
Right.
That the state should override, the federal state should override the states, parents, doctors, and then he immediately goes vague and broad. Gender ideology is taking over our schools. Well, hold up. We're not talking about our schools. We're not talking about Hollywood. We're talking about one family. We're talking about a mother and a dad. You say that's great. Well, they're there and they talk to their doctor and they believe this is what's best for their family. And you're saying, no, the state is gonna come in and crush your parents' rights with the heel of their boot. And I think this is consistent with my ideology. That's what I just saw there, Trey. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, that's their whole thing. I feel like I believe this, except for when it affects me personally or in a specific way in which I disagree with it, like just formalized hypocrisy or whatever. That's their whole thing. We believe in small government, except for when it comes to legislating gay rights, or we believe in parents' rights, except for when it comes to gender affirming care. We believe in you name it, it goes on and on. But with the parents' rights thing, I've felt like it's not made a lot of sense in any of the cases they bring it up a lot of times, because there's always parents on the other side of the issue in the same classroom, or as part of the same classroom in the school board. Do you know what I mean? Like when they it's a parent's right to say that their kid shouldn't have to be taught that book or whatever, but now you're taking that book out of the curriculum of my kid too. And as a parent, I don't want that to happen. I want them to be taught that in class. So it's like, what are they going to do? Like have a parents' tribunal vote on everything to determine which side has the most rights or whatever? Like, just one parent doesn't have the right to dictate, the upbringing of the entire community, which is what they seem to imply sometimes. But I think that's because they just take it for granted that everybody is on the same side as them when it comes to, at their kid's school or whatever. So.
Yeah, and they stay inside of a media bubble that reinforces for them that, if you don't agree with this, then you're a radical, despite the fact that the polls show that people support more protections for the transgender community. 100%, I agree. Okay, well, I think that's enough Mike Pence for the day, maybe for the campaign, we'll see.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.